Guinea's military leaders said it will not bow to regional pressure to allow detained President Alpha Condé to fly into exile. The West African Regional Group, ECOWAS, expelled Guinea after Condé was overthrown during a military takeover earlier this month. The presidents of Ivory Coast and Ghana asked for Condé's release during a one-day trip to Conakry, but in a statement delivered on state TV, the military said Condé will not be leaving the country.
Contrary to alleged rumors of negotiations between the CNRD, National Committee for Rally and Development, name of the junta that overthrew President Alpha Condé, and ECOWAS on the possible exit of the country of the former president of the Republic, the CNRD and its president, Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, reassured the nation and international opinion that the former president of the Republic, Professor Alpha Condé, is and will remain in Guinea. We will not yield to any pressure, and he will receive humane treatment proper to his rank in his country.
Il bénéficiera d'un traitement humain digne de son rang.
And to help us discuss the latest political developments in Guinea, we're now being joined by international affairs analyst Paul Ejime. Paul, thank you so much for being here tonight. Well, the last time we had a conversation with you about Guinea, you said ECOWAS, these sanctions were going to come. And of course, from the beginning, we saw, the freezing of assets, and now we're seeing travel restrictions and targeted assets. But all of this, stance by ECOWAS, how far-reaching is it? Because if you compare it to the situation in Mali, 1 year after, the sanctions are still on and the military is still in charge.
Thank you for having me, Hamaka and Chris. Well, you don't need now to become a prophet or a soothsayer to predict what will happen. It's become like a roller coaster. You mentioned Guinea. Guinea is there one year after. And then the summit that held in Ghana, on the, was it 17th or so, talked about the two countries and expressed worries and concerns that that transition is not moving fast enough, particularly preparations for the elections. And so it's likely that we are going to see the same thing. Doumbouya and his colleagues have called for national consultation that will produce a charter, and then they will now tell the world that this is what they will be leaving this date, and so on and so forth. So we are going back to like, musical chair, and it shouldn't be. This was preventable, because ECOWAS and these other people that are condemning this coup were there when Condé was tampering with the constitution. And then the question will be, what did you do? Well, they will tell you they were, backstopping
the policy of non-interference
behind the scene. But people need to see what you are doing. A dangerous disease requires drastic treatment. You can't be talking, behind. Come out and tell, and that is what is lacking. That, frankness, telling the truth to power. ECOWAS leaders should be able to do that. Otherwise, we are going back. There is regression of democracy. And that is because the leadership is, they will go and these people will start changing the constitution for third term. That seems to be the bug that is, biting everybody. And nothing will happen. An election will now be held, and later the military takes over. What has happened is that if you are now carrying out political coup, you are only cutting military coup. And that is what has happened. So I think it's not about sanctions, it's not about, but how do you now ensure? ECOWAS has the protocol on democracy and good governance to arrest some of these things. They did that in Niger under Tanja. When Tanja wanted to abolish the parliament, ECOWAS said no, and they stopped. This was 2009. And 2011, this same ECOWAS refused to observe an election that the former president Ejime held in that country, and refused in the Gambia, and refused to recognize him. That is, remember that after that, because people did not rally, EU, for instance, did not support ECOWAS in that. If the whole world has supported, Ejime will not go ahead and hold the election in 2016 that now led to. So you see, you have lost how many years? Instead of you need to gain time and then be able to do what is right, follow the constitution, don't meddle with the mess around with the constitution, because you are inviting other constitutional
anarchy,
things like that. I think that is what.
And you don't think that the sanctions, the suspension, and the rest, would help Guinea with a kind of regeneration of its new military leaders?
You see, Guinea is different from Mali. Guinea is not landlocked. So you can close borders, you can do other things, but Guinea is not. It's not like that. So, and then again, the financial squeeze that you can have. Mali belongs to this group of West African Central Bank. They have a place where they all put their money. Guinea does not belong to CFA franc group. Yeah. It has a Guinea franc. So that is where these people might just ignore some of these things. The idea is to put pressure on them to quicken, but also we have to warn. This idea of rushing from these coups to let somebody take over without doing the needful, bringing political and institutional reforms that will be able to withstand the kind of democratic pressure. If you don't do that, you are going back to ground zero. So it is not enough to just say, they will not be there forever, but at least make sure that the necessary and concrete reforms are done. Constitution has been tampered with. They need to work on it. The electoral laws should be put together. Then the elections to the parliament and presidency must be not the type that will bring a president that will be, just controlling the parliament.
Turning it into
These are some of the things that need to be done.
So these are solutions you're proffering for a situation where the military has already taken over. But let's look at the fact that in less than a year, 2 coups in the West African sub-region. Of course, this portends a lot of trouble. But what can we do moving forward to prevent this from happening? What can be put in place to serve as a deterrent?
In fact, not 2. 2 happened in Mali. The one in Guinea is 3. Yeah. There was a coup attempt in Niger. Yeah. That is, about 4. So the issue is this. You do not wait. And here, I think it's a collective responsibility. The citizens themselves should also be, play their part. It's not enough to allow this. When for instance, Condé brought the referendum, people voted for him. So they should. Now, when you tamper with the constitution, you were saying hallelujah. Until now, things got bad, and then the military comes, you are jumping in jubilation. No, you should demand from your leaders accountability. When things, of course, they can come, some are afraid that they will come after them, they can kill them, but freedom is never given. You have to take it. Your rights, you have to fight for it. The social, the civil society, and then the people, they have a role to play to insist. Look at Miami, Boma, when the coup happened, you know how many months that people were on the street. They were shooting and doing everything, but they are there.
Even in N'Djamena,
so what is there? Remember that even in Burkina Faso, it was people power that removed Blaise Compaoré. I think we need to have that kind of people movement. Revolution.
Are we getting there?
It is not there, because everybody, for instance, in Nigeria, when you go for 1 or 2 weeks, you say, I'm not, that fella sang about it. We like to suffer and smile. But when anything time you say, my mother is in the house, my son, my wife. No, you have to come out and demand of these people. It will require some, these are hard decisions.
Sacrifices.
And some sacrifices. People have to perhaps die, unfortunately, for there to be freedom. And I think that is what is key. Because this political class, they are after themselves. It's not about, the conversation is not about the ordinary person on the street.
Freedom comes at a price. Paul Ejime, African Affairs Analyst there. Thanks so very much for joining us.
Thank you, Chris. You are reducing me to African Affairs.
International Affairs. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us
with an expertise in African Affairs. Okay.
Thank you very much.